Hello everyone, welcome to the explanation video about managing diversity by Group 5. Uh, Before that, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And before we start, let me introduce our team. The first is my name is Jevino Suraj Fizal, and the second is Ummu Latifa and the third is Alwa Suryo Saputra, and the fourth is Daniel Muhammad. Listen outline. A. Diversity. 1.1. What is workplace diversity? 1.2. Benefits of workforce diversity. B. The changing workplace. 2.1. Characteristics of the U.S. population. 2.2. What about global workforce change? C. Types of workplace diversity. 3.1 age. 3.2 gender. 3.3 race and ethnicity. 3.4 disabilities. 3.5 religion. 3.6 LGBT sexual orientation and gender identity. D. Challenge in managing diversity. 4.1 Personal bias. 4.2 Glass ceiling. 4.3 Pie inequities. E. Workplace diversity initiatives. 5.1 Top management commitment to diversity. 5.2 Mentoring. 5.3 Diversity training. 5.4 Employee resource groups. 5.5 Some final thoughts and questions. A. Diversity 1.1. What is workplace diversity? Workplace diversity refers to the ways in which employees in an organization are both different and similar. The example is it encompasses demographic traits like age, race, gender, and ethnicity, surface, surface level diversity, but also deeper aspects such as values, personality, and work preferences, deep level diversity. While surface level diversity may initially influence perceptions and stereotypes as relationships grow deeper, differences become more significant. The example organizations today focus on not just recognizing differences but also developing meaningful connections with the entire workforce, emphasizing appreciation and acceptance of diversity at a deeper level. And the next is 1.2 Benefits of workforce diversity. 1. People management. There are 3 points. The first is better use of employee talent. The second is increased creativity in team problem solving. And the third is ability to attract and retain employees of diverse backgrounds. The example is diversity enhances talent attraction and retention by expanding the applicant pool, fostering unique perspective that drive creativity and innovation in team discussions. And the second is organizational performance. There are 3 points. The first is reduced cost associated with high turnover, absenteeism, and lawsuits. The second is enhanced problem-solving ability. The third is improved system flexibility. The example is a diverse workforce can reduce turnover, absenteeism, and legal risks, leading to significant cost savings, improved problem-solving abilities, and flexibility, enhance organizational effectiveness. And the third is strategic. There are 4 points. The first is increased understanding of the marketplace, which improves ability to better market to diverse consumers. The second is potential to improve sales growth and increase market share. The third is potential source of competitive advantage because of improved innovation efforts. And the fourth is viewed as moral and ethical. The example, the right thing to do. And the example, strategic advantage, diverse teams are better equipped to anticipate and respond to consumer needs, improving market strategies. Companies with diverse employees gain insights to effectively target various demographic groups, resulting in increased sales and market share. And the next is 2B, benefits of workforce diversity. 2.1, characteristics of the U.S. population. The U.S. population is becoming increasingly diverse, and this shift is transforming the workforce. Key demographic trends include a growing minority population, with Hispanics and Asians seeing significant increases, and an aging population where people over 65 will make up a large portion of the total by 2050. Non-Hispanic whites are projected to be a minority, and immigrants will contribute significantly to population growth. And the example is workforce diversity will also change with more women, older workers, and ethnic minorities becoming a larger part of the labor force. Organizational will need to adapt by acknowledging and embracing that these differences, moving away from the melting pot idea and instead celebrating the uniqueness each employee brings. And this is the data changing population makeup of the United States. And the next is 2.2. What about global workforce change? The first is total world population growth. The global population, currently 7.6 billion, is expected to reach 9.8 billion by 2050, driven largely by high birth rates in developing regions. And the example is these countries will see a growing proportion of young workers, boosting productivity and economic growth. And the second is aging population. The proportion of people aged 65 and over is expected to nearly double by 2050. And the example is this aging trend will lead to labor shortage in advanced nations, increasing reliance on immigrants and older workers aged 70 until 80 plus and create challenges for social programs, labor supply, and economic sustainability. This shift will profoundly impact societies, business, and global workforce. And the next slide is Daniel.
Part C, types of workplace diversity. The first type is age. Age diversity in the workplace encompasses both older and younger employees, each bringing unique strengths. Uh, Older workers, despite stereotypes suggesting older workers are less capable, shows they offer stability experience, and continuity. They have lower absenteeism rates and job performance does not decline significantly with age. Retaining older workers is critical, especially as labor shortage loom and companies like Berkeley's recognize their value by offering programs for older hires. Younger workers, especially millennials, making up 75% of the workforce by 2025, are often stereotyped as entitled or lazy. However, they bring strength in technology, communication, and teamwork. Managers should focus on bridging generational differences to create a productive and collaborative workforce that benefits from diverse perspective. Second type is gender. The gender composition of the workforce has shifted dramatically, with women now making up 47% of workers compared to less than 30% in 1950. Women have increasingly entered professional roles such as doctors, lawyers, executives, and more. However, gender inequities persist. Men still start careers at higher levels, receive more promotion, challenging assignments, and access to top leadership than women. The Me Too movement, sparked in 2017, highlight widespread sexual harassment and gender-based discrimination, exposing hostile work environment, especially in industries like media and tech. Although progress has been made, gender bias in promotions and workplace culture remains a significant issue. However, awareness and legal action are helping shift these cultures. The next type is race and ethnicity. Race refers to physical characteristic, while ethnicity relates to social and cultural factors like nationality and ancestry. Both race and ethnicity influence workplace dynamic, with racial and ethnic diversity increasing rapidly, particularly in countries like the US. Research has shown that people tend to slightly favor colleagues of their own race in evaluation, promotion, and pay raises. Racial minorities, especially African American, report higher level of workplace discrimination and generally receive lower job performance ratings, less pay, and fewer promotion. While this doesn't always indicate over discrimination, these patterns are consistent. Industries like advertising lack racial diversity in leadership, while Asian representation in tech is higher than their US population percentage. The next type is disability. The first point, prevalence. Approximately 12.6% of the US population has disability, making this group the largest minority in this country. Second point is legal framework. The American with Disability Act, or it's called ADA of the 1990, prohibits discrimination against individuals with disabilities and mandates reasonable accommodation in the workplace. The third point, the EEOC defines as disability as a physical or mental impairment that substantially limits one or more major life activities. The fourth point, diversity inclusion. A survey indicates that while 61% of HR professionals include disability in diversity plans, only 47% actively recruit disabled individuals. The 5 point is employer concerns. Despite positive traits such as dependability and conscientiousness, unfound fear about hiring individuals with disabilities persists, leading to discrimination in hiring. Last point is unique advantage. Individuals with disabilities often excel in specific roles. For example, autistic workers are valued for their high concentration and productivity in fields like software software testing and cybersecurity. These highlight the importance of integrating individuals with disability into the workforce for mutual benefit. The next type is religion. Title 7 of the Civil Rights Act prohibits discrimination based on religion. Yet religion diversity in workplace, particularly regarding Islam, remains a significant issue in the US. Growth of the Muslim population, nearly 3 million Muslims currently reside in the US with number expected to double by 2030, making them comparable in size to other religion groups like Jews and Episcopalians. Discrimination. A significant portion of the US population harbors negative feelings toward Muslims, contributing to workplace discrimination. Muslims have filed around 20% of the EEOC's religious discrimination charge since 2002. Workplace accommodation. Common accommodation sought by Muslim employees include time for Friday prayers, flexibility in dress code, and designated space for daily prayers. Broader religious challenge. Employers also face challenge from other religion groups, such as conservative Jews who may not work on Saturday, and some Christians who refuse Sunday shift, effective, affecting workplace policies and practices. The next type is LGBT workplace diversity. The LGBT acronym representing lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender individuals highlights the diversity of sexual orientation and gender identity in the workplace. While precise statistics on LGBT population are difficult to ascertain, estimates indicate that about 1.7% of the UK population identifies as LGBT, primarily among younger adults. Discrimination. Many LGBT employees report unfair treatment at work, with over 40% facing discrimination related to their sexual orientation. Those who feel isolated or closest are significantly more likely to leave their jobs. Legal protection. Increasingly, countries, including those in the Europe, are enacting laws to protect against discrimination based on sexual orientation. Corporate initiative. Various companies are implementing inclusive policies. For example, in Japan, major corporations have created standards to improve LGBT inclusivity. Second, diversity goals. The BBC aims for 8% of its workforce to be LGBT. Third, companies like Ericsson promote equal opportunity for LGBT individuals and encourage networking groups. Training and awareness. Organizations such as ERAS and Young provide training to prevent discrimination, demonstrating a growing commitment to LGBT rights in the workplace. Overall, the landscape for LGBT diversity in the workplace is evolving, with increasing recognition and support for inclusion.
D. Challenge in managing diversity. 4.1 Personal bias. Personal bias refers to an inclination or preference toward a specific perspective or ideology, often leading to presumptive opinion about individuals or a group. Employees bring biases into the workplace, which can result in prejudice, discrimination, and stereotyping. These biases can be based on various characteristics, including race, gender, age, and sexual orientation. Uh, the first, prejudice and stereotyping. A. Prejudice, a presumptive belief or judgment toward a person or group, often leading to unfair treatment. B. Stereotyping, judging individuals based on generalization about the group to which they belong, which can distort judgment. The second, discrimination, when prejudicial attitude result in unequal treatment of individuals, leading to action that are often prohibited by law. While overt discrimination has spread due to legal and social pressures, covert forms like invisibility or exclusion may still persist. The three consequences for organization. Discrimination can lead to number one, reduce employee productivity. Number two, increase interpersonal conflict. Number three, higher employee turnover. Number four, a negative workplace climate. Understanding and addressing personal basis is crucial for creating an inclusive and productive workplace. Next, for point two, glass killing. The glass killing refers to the invisible barriers that prevent women and other minorities from advancing to top levels in organizations. Despite women having more college degrees than men and performing equal will in managerial roles, they they held only 4.8% of Fortune uh, 500 CEO position in 2018. Factors contributing to the glass scaling include the first, lack of networking opportunities, the second, absence of effective mentoring, the third, gender stereotyping, the fourth, association of leadership with masculine traits. Steering the glass scaling is essential not just for fairness, but also for business success. Research indicates that companies with significant female representation in senior roles experience a 19% higher return on equity and are 21 more likely to achieve above threat profitability. Next, 4.3 pie inequities. Pie inequity between men and women remains a significant challenge in workplace diversity. Despite the equal pie rate of 1,019 and 1,963, making pie discrimination illegal. Studies show that disparities persist. The first historical gap in 1980, women earned uh 64 64% of what men made in similar jobs, improving to 82% by 2017. The gap for younger The younger woman not has has narrowed even further. The second contributing factor. Research attribute the pie gap to job tech and women prefer for flexibility in work arrangement. However, 3 to 5% portion of the gap remains unexplained, likely due to discrimination. The three ongoing effort companies like Salesforce demonstrate that addressing pay inequities requires continuous commitment and regular audit. Even with a focus on pay equality, disparate can iris necessitating ongoing evaluation. Overall, while progress is being made toward gender pay equity, significant work remains to achieve full equality in compensation. The next discussion is Eva.
Okay, let's talk about point E, workplace diversity initiatives. 5.1, top management commitment to diversity. Top management commitment is crucial for achieving a diverse workforce. When leadership prioritizes diversity and integrates it into the organization's purpose, goals, and strategies, it fosters a culture where diversity is valued. This includes designing forward systems that reflect diversity objectives, addressing grievances promptly, and ensuring that individual performance is evaluated based on diversity accomplishment. Without genuine commitment from the top, diversity initiatives may receive only superficial support, hindering their effectiveness throughout the organization. And then 5.2, mentoring. Mentoring programs are vital for supporting lower-level women and minority employees, providing them with guidance and advice from experienced mentors. Effective mentoring involves two key functions. Number one is career development function. There is a seven, and number one is lobby for challenging assignment, coach to develop skills and achieve goals, facilitate exposure to influential individuals, advise on organizational politics, protect reputation from risks, sponsor for promotion, and serve as a sounding board for ideas. And point two is social support function. There are several points, and the first one is boost self-confidence through counseling, share personal experience, provide friendship and acceptance, and then act as a role model. Mentoring programs should target a high potential employees, but particularly benefit from mentors who are women or minorities, as they can offer relative advice and support to protests facing similar challenges in their careers. And then 5.3, diversity training. American organizations invest billions annually in diversity training, which aim to enhance knowledge, attitudes, and behavior regarding diversity. Focus areas training typically covers diversity issues, unconscious biases, and practical responses to discrimination. And point two, success factor. Research indicates that diversity training positively affects knowledge and attitudes, but often sees behavioral reversion over time. Sustained change is more likely with supportive measures such as top management commitment, diverse hearing goals, and mentoring programs. And three is challenges. Training tends to be less effective when mandatory, legally justified, or targeted solely at managers. Approximately 75% of organizations with diversity programs face at least one of these issues. Overall, while diversity training can be beneficial, its effectiveness is enhanced with integrated with broader organizational initiative. 5.4 Employee Resource Groups or ERGs. Employee Resource Groups or ERGs are voluntary employee-led subgroups within organizations designed to promote diversity and inclusion. Or originating in the 96 with Xerox Black Caucus Group, ERGs are now present in about 90% of Fortune 500 companies. They serve multiple purposes, including providing a platform for shared concerns, attracting diverse talent, enhancing employee engagement, and facilitating mentorship programs. Typically sponsored by a senior executive, ERGs help ensure that the voice of their members are heard at higher management levels. Commonly established groups focus on women, African Americans, military veterans, and LGBTQ plus employees. For instance, 80 and 80s African American ERG has over 12,000 members and is associated with high retention rates. Interest in ERGs tends to vary by age, with nearly 50% of employees under 34 expressing interest, compared to the less than 20% of those aged 55 until 64. And overall, ERGs are instrumental in fostering an inclusive workplace culture and advancing diversity initiatives. 5.1 Final thoughts and questions. Number one is there's a 2 point. Number one is identity politics versus unity has the focus on celebrating differences. It's like race, gender, and sexual orientation. Overshadow the need for unity and shared organizational values. Can subcultures compro- can sub can subcultures compromise a cohesive organizational culture? And point two is impact of established practice. Common practice like employee referrals may reinforce existing demographics. For example, predominantly white males, and undermine diversity. Similarly, corporate team building activities might emphasize shared goals over embracing differences. And number three, diversity versus merit. Does prioritizing diversity in hiring and development conflict with merit-based reward? While diversity aims to correct historical imbalances, concern arise about whether it compromises fairness and meritocracy. Okay, this is the final point in our presentation on part 5 based on the theme managing diversity. Thank you guys for all of your attention and see you.
Thank you for watching until the end and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.